welcome in to the RYLACast. Apparently, people have heard this podcast, and they don't hate it.
No.
And they don't hate the name either.
They don't hate the name, although we
great.
did get a list of suggested names.
Did we?
We did.
Let's run through that at the end of the show.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the official podcast of Camp RYLA District 5810. I'm Greg Tepper. That is the man they call Josey, Andrew Utz. Josey, what's up?
Hey, Greg. Not too much. How about you?
You know.
Throwing you a curveball?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got this whole script, and then you asked me a question I didn't know the answer to. This is your official podcast for lifestyle and sports or whatever. We need like a really good tagline that I can't come up with on the fly.
Okay.
But we are not alone around the table. We are joined by our special guest today. We'll be talking with him in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Tevin Sylvester.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you.
Is it weird to hear your own voice in headphones?
It is the weirdest thing I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, no, it trips everybody out, so you don't need to feel bad.
Awesome.
So this is episode 4. I'm just going to go ahead and say that this will be the podcast that we post for the 4th episode. So
Perfect.
Congratulations on getting here first, Tevin.
Oh, thanks.
One thing we're going to try to do this week is, and this kind of segment is try to have a through line, try to have like a common theme for each of these podcasts as chosen by our special guests.
Oh.
And so we've kind of gone to the people. We've asked them, hey, what do you want your podcast to be about? And Tevin has chosen patience. Okay, interesting. Patience. So we're going to have our three segments per usual. It'll be something to think about, someone to talk to, and something to leave you with. I've got the unenviable task of hurrying up and talking about patience. And so
I see what you did there.
Thank you very much. I planned that one in the mirror.
No, that was good.
So I want to talk a little bit, and this is going to sound really weird because I promise you this is not a presidential history podcast. I promise. It's just that, this one happens to do with the president.
Is it a different president?
It is.
Okay.
Oh,
It is
okay.
the first president.
Oh.
That's right. Jimmy Carter.
That's
No.
not.
Okay, that's not wrong. No. So
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be a little bit about George Washington, because one thing that I kind of doing a little bit of reading around the internets, it's a series of tubes, is that I found this article by a humanities professor by the name of David Hein. This was published in Modern Age magazine, which I know you guys subscribe to.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
he has a very interesting point about George Washington that I think that we can all take from it as well. As your local presidential historian, I can tell you a little bit about this. I think we hear all the time about the power of patience, right? The power of patience in things that you can is how important it is and how valuable it can be, especially when you're leading people, or you're the head of a group. You're having patience with people, having patience with yourself. I think we all kind of recognize the power of patience. But this is a really interesting article about the patience of power. And what he means by that is that I think that when you're a leader and you are somebody who has some sort of power, some sort of gravitas, some sort of position, I think that it's really easy to want more and to say, well, I'm the boss, and as a result, what I say goes. Mm-hmm. One of the most remarkable things about George Washington is that he is writes David Hein, is the ability for him to have the patience of power, in that I think that when you're in charge, it can be really easy to just lay it out and be like, all right, I've got all this power, I'm going to do whatever I want, and what I say goes.
Right.
George Washington, whenever he became president, gave up essentially he resigned as commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. Essentially, whenever he became president. And I think if you talk to historians, they would tell you that he could have become a king, right? He was a this almost a mythical, godlike figure in America at that point. And he was elected president, and then at that point, he could have pretty much dictated whatever he wanted. He had full control of the military. He had full control of the government. He had total control. He could have been a true autocrat. But I think that there's a certain amount of patience that that comes in the form of knowing when to say, all right, let's make sure we're hearing other voices. Let's make sure that we are including other people, and let's make sure. I think there's a certain humility in it, in saying it doesn't have to be what I say goes, and that does take a certain level of patience, knowing full well that you could say, "Oh, that's not how I would do it," and I do have the power to do it, so I'm going to go and do it. There is a certain level of patience that's required to let other people have their way in a lot of respects, and that's something that there's a really interesting article. It's called "George Washington and the Patience of Power." And it's a very interesting article that I read. I thought that was really well stated about how we all understand that you need patience to be a leader, to be an effective leader. But in a lot of ways, the way that you can show the most patience is by taking a step back and saying, all right, we're going to make sure we understand all viewpoints before we're going and making a decision. So that's my something to think about. I found an article online. That's what I did. Okay, let's get to our someone to talk to, and that is the main event here. We are joined, of course, by Tevin Sylvester. Tevin, thanks for coming in.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you making time in your busy day. It was a busy day, right?
It's absolutely a busy day.
Okay. First and foremost, as is wont to do, the good thing about doing these interviews is that the first question is always the same. So this is good. So, Tevin.
Yes?
Will you please tell us your RYLA story?
Man, so my RYLA story starts in 2007. Was a camper from Tyler Street Christian Academy. I always win this game. Only had 10 people in my graduating class.
You always do win that game.
Yes, I always win that
What
game.
was your graduating class?
251.
Yeah, no.
Boy.
No.
I was 664.
Man, you guys are way out of
Lapping.
Yeah. So you came to camp, and I should start over. Before that, interviewed for the process, and in my interview was this really nice lady, and across from her, Mark Healy.
Oh no!
The big guns.
Yes.
Yeah, they're bringing in the heavy hitters.
Yes. So it was really had heard nothing about it besides the video and the brochures and all of that stuff, and got to camp and absolutely loved it. Feel like it brought me out of my shell a little bit, stepped out of my comfort zone a little bit, and have been coming back to camp every year since 2007. Obviously I can't get enough of it and really love camp, and so yeah.
Josey, it's your next question.
It's my next question. Well, and can't get enough of you.
Oh man,
it seems as well.
Yeah, apparently.
So what, in whatever that is, 12, 13 years, this will be the 13th, I think.
Oof.
Math was never my strong suit. But
why would you say that?
Aren't you an engineer?
Well, this is an interview with...
Aren't you an engineer?
This is about you, Tevin.
Oh, okay.
So what roles have you had at camp?
Oh man. So obviously in 2007 I was a camper. Came back the next year and was an AC. Came back the next year, thought I was going to be on staff. Ended up being a AC again. And
ooh, the double AC.
Only person to be an AC twice. Quote me.
That is true. The only
what
double
a weird
AC.
flex.
Yeah. It's true. You have to flex what you
Yeah,
got.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
And then was on staff for a few years after that, maybe 2 or 3, and then ever since then have been in a cabin except for 2014.
So then, what keeps you coming back? Why? What do you get out of it from a staff perspective that makes you so passionate about making sure that you're there every year?
I think it has to do more with nothing about me, honestly. And obviously, you want to come back and see, all those relationships and all those friends that you have on staff. But it's really more about giving back, and this is the way that I give back. I give back with my time and with giving somebody that same feeling that I had in 2007. And it's just all about just the feeling that RYLA can, give you, and also the feeling that that person takes home with them and into their neighborhoods, and going off to be just something just astronomical, and just being a small part of those success stories is really something that I enjoyed looking back, 5 years and seeing, oh my gosh, one of my campers is a doctor now. It's just, you don't know what part you played in it, but you can feel just a little bit better about.
It's rewarding.
Yeah, it's rewarding. There you go.
So you chose the word patience
I
for
did.
this episode.
I did.
Could you tell us more about that, please?
I think patience is something that I've had to learn, and I think that it also has a lot to do with the kinds of kids who we're seeing at camp, because they have their lives planned out for the next 10, 15 years, just all set, and they can't help but get in a rush to be that person that they have already mapped out that they're going to be. And patience for me, and patience, what I try to tell other people is things are going to happen. Good things, bad things, but enjoy the ride. Don't be in a rush to get to the end point. Enjoy the ride and be patient on how things happen, when they happen, because just because you want something done in 2 years doesn't mean it's going to get done in 2 years.
Man, ain't that the truth? And I feel like, I don't know, from my personal experience, I found that that's one of the things that you have to try to drill into campers is, look, you guys are all achievers. You guys all have big goals and big dreams, but it is very rarely a straight line.
Oh, absolutely.
It for basically nobody is it like, oh, I'm going to go do that, and then you walk there and do it.
Absolutely.
It is a winding road. So I think that's such a great point about being patient. So tell us what you do now. What's your deal?
I'm in sales and marketing for an advertising company.
Okay. Do you is there anything from camp that you particularly feel like you draw those lessons that work now into your everyday lives?
Yeah, absolutely. Being in sales, you have to be, a little bit more resilient to, customers saying no and things like that. You also have to be able to communicate very well, because communication is key no matter what you're doing. Communication is, first and foremost, because if you can't communicate, no matter how good the plan is, if you can't communicate that plan to anybody on your team, then it doesn't get done, or it doesn't get done right. So,
sorry, I was sitting here thinking, are you interested in advertising or selling advertising space on a podcast?
Yeah, hypothetically.
Hypothetical.
maybe we'll talk.
Okay.
That's an off.
Okay. I know a podcast.
Okay, I know a podcast.
Yeah.
So, what are you passionate about? And you can tell me, it's patience. That's why I picked the word. Or you can tell me something else.
Man, I'm really passionate about personally doing the right thing, and making sure that the light that I give out is what everybody sees. I don't know if that makes sense, but
That is good.
But making sure that what I am is what people perceive me as, because a lot of people go out there and they think that, they're just the nicest person and all that stuff, and then they actually get to realize that other people might think that, they're stuck up or whatever. So I always try to be the same and put that light out that I want. So, yeah.
All right, so I've got one more question before Josey gives you an opportunity to promote something.
Oh, man.
So let's talk about the wedding.
Oh, man.
All right.
Oh,
my
close.
Because
So close.
Because the wedding's coming.
Yes.
You're engaged.
I am engaged.
Okay. Congrats.
Thank you.
Public congratulations.
Yes,
Oh,
public
thank you.
congratulations here
Thank
on the
you, guys.
RYLACast. The RYLACast congratulates you.
I feel weird. I'm the only guy sitting here without a ring on. So.
Trust me, the moment that they put the ring on your finger is the weirdest moment of your life.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't
Like the next morning you wake up and your hand's like heavy. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's on my writing hand too. I can't
All
do
right.
anything.
So, how's your stress level how's your stress level? More importantly, how's her stress level?
Oh man, my stress level is probably at a 7 or 8. Hers is probably 92.
On the same scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
On the same scale. Just going and looking at a lot of venues, and we did set a date, but we don't want to reveal
Nope,
that
that's fine.
no,
Nope,
yep.
absolutely not.
until we find the venue that actually has said date.
For sure.
So be looking out for that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be the social event of the season.
Oh man,
I mean, it's going to be big.
Brief segue on that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a huge wedding.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
Really?
It's going to be a huge wedding. I asked my mother to come up with a list of people, just because I didn't know who I was going to invite.
Sure,
from
tough
my
but
family.
fair.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I didn't understand, and she came back with a list of 100 people.
Oh.
She did?
My mother.
That's
Okay, and so my fiance did the same thing.
Oh no!
Her mother came back with a list of 92 people.
okay.
Oh, and that's before you get to like
That's
anybody you want.
That's what-
Of course, you want family there. and
Not
stuff
all
like
of them, no.
Don't listen
that's-
to this, guys.
That's before you guys.
Oh my
Oh
gosh!
man. Well, I mean, we're just two. Oh, you mean the RYLA people? I was
Absolutely.
thinking like
No,
just.
yeah, I was like, we're just two.
Yeah,
No.
we're two.
and I'll be his plus one.
Okay, that
or I'll
might,
be your plus one.
Oh wow, that's
that
we'll
might
figure that
That
out.
might have to happen.
All right, go ahead, Josey. Ask the final question.
Okay, yes. So the final question is, we like to give our guests the opportunity to promote something, TV show, book, podcast,
Anything.
Anything.
Wow.
Those are just examples.
Do you have a blog?
I do not have a blog.
SoundCloud?
No, listen. So, from the first episode, I don't know what SoundCloud is either.
Thank you.
I don't.
Thank you.
I mean,
Dude,
I know it involves music.
because
but
here's the thing: Tevin's cool, and if Tevin doesn't know what it is,
Then
I
it's-
feel so much better.
I know it involves music, but how it works and how rankings work, that's
Okay,
over
good.
me. So
Yeah, that makes me feel so much better.
no, you're good. You're good.
Thank you.
No, I really don't have anything to promote except for on Netflix.
Mhm.
If you have not watched All American, I suggest that you go do it.
All American.
All American.
What is it?
It's based on a true story about a football player named Spencer Paysinger. He played for the Giants for a little bit. And it's basically his story talking about how he was a kid from a poor section of L.A., moved to Beverly Hills, and, all the trappings of playing football and still staying true to yourself, things like that. So, and also, I have not watched one episode of Game of Thrones.
Thank you. Me either.
Okay.
It's not a Thrones cast.
Yeah.
I've watched all of them, but
Yeah.
I'm
Can
but-
you believe the dragon?
That's it.
I don't know.
I just, yeah.
I can't
Ned
believe.
Stark.
Is it a show? It's a show about chairs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, really, one chair.
One chair, because
To rule them
apparently
all.
one person is going to sit on the Iron Throne. I do know that.
There's a.
It's one chair to
I
rule
don't
them all is the
understand,
tagline,
man.
I think.
So it's like a carpentry show?
yeah.
Yes,
Huh.
but like medieval.
Why don't they just build another chair?
Well, they ran out of wood.
But it's made of iron, I thought.
Right. So.
This has really gone off the rails.
Sorry, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tevin Sylvester!
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, absolutely, anytime.
And now, with something to leave you with, here's America's sweetheart, Josey Utz.
Well, thank you. Yeah, something to leave you with. So patience. Patience is a tricky word. I haven't had patience. That's been one of my crutches over the years. Is I just want to go and get things done.
Mhm.
And back to I would not do well with George Washington because I would just hoard everything that I wanted to get done and not allow others to.
I knew
take
you
care
were
of it.
power hungry.
Yeah, that's me.
He's trying to muscle me out of this podcast.
That's what it is. That's what it really is.
Welcome to the Josey cast.
But yeah, so I was listening to things to prepare for this, and heard that patience should not equate passiveness, and that really spoke to me because I, in my younger days, was really one of the people that said, hey, it's all going to work out. It's all everything's going to work out how it's supposed to work out. But what I failed to understand at that moment was that you have to be an active participant in your own life. You can let things work out, but you also have to work towards the things that you want. And like we were saying earlier, that we rarely go from A to B. You go to A to A1 to A2, and then eventually, hopefully, get to B. And I think that's really important in leadership, is understanding that you're going to go off the rails, and you've got to be patient and have a process to know where you want to go, and get back on track and keep moving forward. And so patience used to be for me a negative word, but that has grown in the past couple of years to be a positive, have a positive connotation to it.
Who has more patience, you or your lovely wife?
The wife.
Oh my gosh, my lovely wife.
It's the wife.
Wow, I like how Tevin answering for the Utz family. Be like, I'll field that one.
Yeah, no, just because I know Josey and he has zero patience.
She has had to be very patient with me too. So
yeah.
If I may give you marriage advice here on this, is now a marriage advice podcast.
Please.
Presidential marriage leadership.
Just learn. Like patience in marriage. Oh my gosh! Like, you want to talk about a partnership?
Absolutely.
Like, all right, we're gonna get through this. It's fine. Sometimes you have to insist on patience to yourself and to your lovely spouse.
I'm already there.
All right. Okay. Good.
already there.
That's fine. You cannot book the entire wedding in one day.
Oof.
It cannot happen.
It won't happen.
It will not happen.
My God.
Especially with 700 people coming.
750. I'm kidding.
We got to find a way to take the word take you and your fiance's names and fit into the word Coachella, and that could be the name. That could be the hashtag.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm going to work on that as I leave here.
That's a workshop. That's a workshop idea. That's going to do it for us. That's the RYLACast for this episode. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Of course, check out RYLA 58. What's the website? I'm bad at this. I got to work on this.
RYLA5810alumni.org.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Tevin, what's your Twitter?
Tev2Real.
Tev2Real. Josey, what's your Twitter?
We'll do the @RYLA5810.
I'm at Tepper. Follow me on Twitter.
And Instagram.
Thank you. Yeah, follow him on the gram. That's going to do it for us. Tevin, thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Josey, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week on the RYLACast.